What's going on, guys? It's your boy Trolltech here for another video. So today we're doing something a little special. It's a bit late, but it is what it is. So we're doing a Q&A video to celebrate for reaching 5,000 subscribers. I reached it a while ago, but I've just kind of been putting this video off. So we have questions that were posted on YouTube and then questions that were posted on Patreon that we'll be getting through. I'm going to try to get through all of them, but we'll see how this goes because some of the questions have like multiple questions in them. So I don't know if I'll be able to answer every single question within your question, but I'll try my best. So we're going to just start on YouTube, and then we're just going to go through each question based on how they were uploaded. Okay. So question 1 is by Vera JB3WG. So I have 2 questions actually. Number 1, I'm not sure if you talked about it already, but what got you interested in Korean media, like dramas, etc.? Number 2, are you interested in any girl groups or do you plan to stick to boy groups exclusively? So let's start with the first question. What got me interested in Korean dramas? So when I was a teenager, actually there's a bit of a backstory. So when I was growing up, I was a big fan of anime, right? I started watching anime by watching Dragon Ball Z on Toonami. And so Toonami was like a thing that it gave you all the anime. Like it had Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. Like it had shows like that they would stream to Western audiences. Anyway, so I was really into anime. As I became a teenager, they started like releasing websites on the internet where you could watch anime on the internet from episode 1. Because before that, you just watched whatever was on the TV, right? Anyway, so I got into anime. Then I remember getting into like the delinquent genre in anime. And I really liked that idea of like delinquents and like teenagers just like having massive punch-ons and stuff in these animes. And then I got into like Japanese dramas originally because I was like, I remember writing in Google one day, like, what are some animes where there's delinquent characters? And then I got recommended like a bunch of like J-dramas. And then from there, it just like naturally went into K-dramas. And then I started just in that delinquent kind of fighting action realm of K-dramas. And then I went into other stuff. And that's probably how I got into it. So I was maybe 18 or 19 when I first watched my first K-drama. And I remember exactly what the K-drama was. It's a K-drama called Holy Land, which came out in like 2006, like very early 2000s, I'm pretty sure. And it's such a good show. It's only got like 4 or 5 episodes, but I remember being absolutely obsessed with it. And then from there, I just continued watching K-dramas. That's how that happened. And then obviously I didn't get into like K-pop and stuff until like a month ago when I started this channel, essentially. Like God's Menu was my first foray into K-pop. Okay, so question 2, are you interested in any girl groups or do you plan to stick to boy groups exclusively? I don't really have a plan to stick to boy groups exclusively. Like I'm willing to check girl groups out as well. But there's really no girl groups that are on my radar to check out. Yeah, I don't know. I will probably do a video where I like pick a bunch of songs from like random girl groups and listen to them to see if I vibe with it. And we'll see how it goes. Because generally, it's generally hard for me to listen to female musicians and like kind of connect with the music. Even with like characters and stuff in like shows and stuff, it's hard for me to like connect with the character when it's female. It just seems so, you know what I mean? Like it's not guys are better at it thing. It's just like a personal preference where I usually don't connect with female artists and like actresses and stuff and like, you know, characters because there's such little to kind of relate our experiences generally. But if I do like a female artist, I'm obsessed with them. You know what I mean? Like I'm a really for example, I'm a really massive Billie Eilish fan. But it's rare for me to be like listen to a lot of, you know, female artists because I'm just like, it's all right. Or I'm obsessed with their music. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm willing to check some girl groups out. Okay. Question 2 by Alviva Showdown 8133. I don't know if you talked about this before. What are your favorite K-dramas? My favorites are Hotel Del Luna, Little Woman, and Missing. So I only know Hotel Del Luna out of that. I watched 2 episodes of Hotel Del Luna. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know. It was boring to me. I could see why people like it, but I didn't like it. Okay, so right now, my favorites are... let's see. I would say Weak Hero Class 1 if I finished it, because I know I'm going to love it. Already 2 episodes in, it's like probably the most fun I've had in a K-drama, but I haven't finished it. I've only watched 2 episodes, so I don't want to say that. Vincenzo is really good. I love Vincenzo. What else? I love the Goblin, the legendary, what's it called? The Goblin Guardian or whatever it's called. I like that. And the, what was it called? The, what's it called? The Eternal Monarch, I think it's called. That's really good as well. I also like Uncanny Encounter. Uncanny Encounter, I forget how it's said. I like that. That's a good show. Yeah. So you can see, based on what my thing, I like shows that have more like action, fantasy vibes to them. I'm trying to think of other shows that I really like. Oh, actually, that's a Japanese one, so I guess that doesn't count. What else? I'm trying to remember. I watched one recently, literally recently, that was really good. Oh, yeah. There's this show. It's only 4 episodes long. There's a show called Doctor Rewind. Oh, my God. So good. I watched it last night. So good. I really love that. But I'm going to say my favorite K-drama, it's probably Vincenzo. I'm going to say Vincenzo. Actually, but if you've... Reborn Rich is also really good. Anything with that guy, I don't know his name, but the main actor in Vincenzo, anything with him is usually like up there for me, you know, as a show. But yeah, so that's kind of my taste. Okay, question 3. Murad5389. What were you expecting from K-pop before even knowing what it is? Honestly, my idea of K-pop was like, it was more the pop, right? That's the idea I had. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even assume like rap and stuff was like a thing. I genuinely had no assumption on that. I viewed K-pop as just like bright, happy, poppy, you know, that type of music, which is not at all the case. Like, yeah, sometimes it's the case, but not all the time. So I think that's what really kind of surprised me and, you know, kind of broke my expectation of it. It's more than just the name. Like, it's called K-pop, but it's not just pop music. And that's, yeah, something that I think really just kind of blew me away personally. Like, I kind of expected the high level of quality when it came to music videos and stuff, because like Korean like dramas and stuff are so high quality. So I feel like their music videos would have been at that same level. So I wasn't too surprised about like the quality of it, but I was surprised about how, you know, it's called K-pop, but it's not pop only, you know, it's every kind of genre intertwined into one, but it's just called K-pop. Okay. So next question by Nedzar8630. From all the K-pop songs you've listened to so far, which one is your favorite? It's between 2 songs right now, because I was considering this last night. I was like, which one's my actual favorite song? You know, I was considering it. I was like, what the fuck? I don't know, actually. But I would say my favorite, 2 favorite is Freeze and Thunderous. Now, depends in my mood. If I'm feeling a song where it needs to be a bit more, you know, a bit more grimy, not grimy, but a bit more kind of, you know, intense, I would say Freeze. If it's a song that's like, I want to be in a vibey mood, then Thunderous. But Top Line's also really good, but I don't know if I could call it my favorite. I'm going to say my favorite is probably Freeze. Oh no, sorry. Okay. I'm gonna delete all of what I just said. It's 3 Racha by 3 Racha. That's my favorite song. I fully forgot about it because, you know, it's not all the Stray Kids, but it is a K-pop song at the end of the day. So I'm gonna say 3 Racha by 3 Racha is my favorite song. I love that song. I've listened to that song, I'm gonna say almost 600 times. Like, the amount of times you know what I do? I go in my car and I just chuck that song on loop and I just blast it like max volume. It's just such a good song. I love it. So yeah, I don't know why that was even a question, to be honest, because like, I know why it was a question, but I don't know why I was like thinking about it, because it's obviously 3 Racha by 3 Racha. Okay, next question by Lee Whitaker 4683. What's your favorite look of Chan's? Which Chan moment lives in your head rent free? And as a fellow Chan alt, I know it's so hard to choose. That's easy. The best Chan scene is in the 5-star trailer where he kind of looks up and he's like, what? And he's got the mask on. That's the best. That's the best Chan look. That's the best moment I've ever seen. It was only a 2-second moment, but that was my favorite moment. Though I did also like the moment he had in the S-Class trailer where I was like tracing his jaw with my mouse. That moment was also good, but I'm going to say the S-Class trailer look that he had, that was my favorite look personally. Okay, so next question. Alexandra Doracino 9630. Okay, so she's got 2 questions. What's your favorite movie? What advice would you give to anyone who wants to travel to Australia? Okay, let's start with this. My favorite movie. Ooh, I don't want to say it's my favorite movie, but it's a trilogy, is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's the best trilogy to date. It's the best movies I've ever watched. I love them. I rewatch them once a year. I've probably watched them over 20 times by now. Extended cut, obviously. I never watched the theatrical version or anything. Extended cut every single time. So it's like 4 hours each. I think it's like 4 hours each fucking movie. It's crazy. But it's worth it. I never feel bored when I'm watching it. I love it. Yeah. So, and what advice would you give anyone who wants to travel to Australia? Ooh, this is an interesting question. You know what advice I would actually give? Like actually the advice I'll give. So when you're in Australia, right, we have this reputation as being like very laid back and chill, right? And that's true to an extent. But I feel like Australians have this line, right? It's this weird thing where we're chill on one side, but then we're so thing about like social rules. So what do I mean by that? So let's say you go to the beach, right? Let's say you go to the beach, and on the beach, when like families are sitting down, they each have a little area that they have for themselves. So in those things, if you like do annoying shit around them, like, I don't know, hit the sand or, you know, walk in their area and like, you know, are noisy around where they're sitting, Aussies fucking hate that shit, right? So I would say if you're going to come to Australia, there's like, my biggest recommendation is this, actually. Try to be as like not disturb anyone's like bubbles. Really, that's actually, I know it feels like Australia's not like that, but it is. Sydney is specifically, Sydney siders don't like anyone. We don't like. Yeah, we're laid back and we're kind of, you know, we're chill in the way we talk, but we don't like anyone. And it's not like we don't like anyone in the way we don't talk to people. We still talk to people, but like when we meet someone, we assume that like this is actually true. Actually, when I meet someone, like as an Australian, when I meet someone, I assume that, especially if they're not Aussie, like my opinion of them is that they're kind of like dumb. They're a bit dumb, right? And then as you get to know them, they get kind of smarter in your brain. That's when an Aussie first meets anyone, even if it's a fellow Aussie, they don't have the highest opinion on them. I'm telling you that much. It's the truth. It is what it is. Because Australians, like, I feel like we can just tell the vibe of someone. We can like take their energy and then just be like, okay, I kind of know what kind of person you are. So I would say the number one thing, if you're going to come to Australia, is don't try to put up like this polite mask of who you are. Just be the way you are. And I think that usually is fine. That's how you survive in Australia. But I've noticed people that try to put on a mask or like try to be polite, even if they're not like that normally, Aussies can just sense that energy and be like, okay, I don't want to deal with you. So that's my biggest recommendation. If you come to Australia, to be just 100% authentic, honest who you are when you're talking to other people. That would be my recommendation. That's just culturally how we are. And another thing is, don't take anything to heart. Do not take a single thing to heart, because Australians will insult you 6, 7, 8, 9 ways to Sunday, but it's all jokes. You know what I mean? Like, so when you take something to heart, Aussies automatically, they label you as, oh, this guy's a boring dude. I don't want to deal with this person, right? So that's my biggest recommendations if you're going to move to Australia. Okay, sorry, that was a long answer, but okay. Next question by Block Clips 9252. Would you react to girl groups in the future? So I answered this question. So yeah, I answered this question. So we'll skip. Moon Nanik 6309. Okay, this person has many questions, so I'm not going to answer all your questions because you have so many questions. There's like 15 questions here. So I'm going to just pick a couple of questions that I see interesting. Okay, what's your favorite gender? You mean genre of music? Would be hip hop. I'm going to say it's just hip hop. You know, which you can probably tell by my reactions. I'm really into the rap stuff, which, not to say I don't like other genres of music, but I would say hip hop is my favorite. Do you have a least favorite genre of music? If yes, what genre is it? My least favorite genre of country music is my least. I just don't like it. I don't like anything about it. You know why I think I don't like it? Because my mum loves it, and like growing up, like that music that was always on, and even now it's always on. I just can't deal with it. I hate country music. It sounds all the fucking same, and the only three things they do country music are about like someone's cheating on someone, divorce, and like, yeah, there's two things. There's really two things. Either someone's cheating or it's about divorce. Like, those are the only two things the country music is about. So I just do not like it. Okay, so I'm going to skip what are your 5 favorite groups? Well, I've only listened to 2 groups right now, so I'm not going to answer that question. Can't really answer. What's your 5 favorite solo artists? Or I'm going to give this answer, but not in the context of K-pop, because I haven't listened to a lot of K-pop, right? Solo artists. But if I was to list some solo artists that I love outside of K-pop, Eminem, J. Cole, let's see. Oh, Biggie Smalls, obviously. I guess he's dead, so I don't know if it counts. Ooh, what else? You know what I really like? I like Post Malone, and who else? I'm trying to think right now. I'm blanking on like the names of these guys. I would say solo artist. Oh, there's this guy I've been listening to recently, which I really like his stuff. He's a younger guy. His name's NF, and his stuff is really good. I'm really been into his stuff. Like, as a solo artist, I really like his stuff. So I would say that's my pick for that. Okay, I'm just going through these questions because like a lot of them, yeah. Okay. There's just a lot of questions here by this person, so sorry about this. Okay, this is the last question I'll answer for you. What fictional character do you relate to the most? Ooh, this is a good question. You know what I really relate to, actually? This is funny, but I really relate to a thing in Weak Hero Class 1. The guy that's always sleeping, what's his name? You know, the guy that's always sleeping and he's just like fighting when he wakes up. That's what I relate to, that guy the most, I would say. Because that's how I was in high school. I would either just be dozed off or like someone would piss me off and I would be having a fight with someone. Like, that's the only things I did in high school. So yeah, I would say that. Like, I would go at lunchtime. A lot of the times I would go to the library and just have a nap in the library at lunchtime. You know, so that's probably someone I relate to a lot. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the next questions. So XX Payu asks, any animes you've watched or mangas? Also, have you read any webtoons, and do you plan on watching any other groups in the future? I definitely recommend 17. Okay, so I have a plan of a couple of groups in the future. Obviously BTS, but I also want to do what was this? TXT or what was the other one? Oh, there was one more. I can't remember what it was, but TXT is something I want to check out as well. A lot of people have been recommending them. And yes, of course I've watched anime. Like, can you see the wall behind me? Can you see the fucking thing behind me? Yes, of course I have. Yes, I'm big into web. I've read probably most webtoons. My favorite webtoons probably that I can think of off the top of my head: Weak Hero, Go to High School, and what was that one? Oh shit, I'm blanking on it. It's the one where he like reads a web novel and then he can see into like that tells the events of the future, and then he lives those events and he uses that knowledge to kind of, save people and stuff. Fuck, what was it called? The readers, something reader, the oh, I forgot what it was called. I'm blanking. Okay, next question. By Up All Night. Have you thought of buying the new Stray Kids album that drops physical or digital version? I probably will when I have the money for it, because right now I'm a broke uni student, so probably will not be able to afford. Like, I could afford it probably, but I'm saving up for it, so I'll probably buy it in the future. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see how it happens. Chase3740 asks, so far, how is your K-pop journey as you just started? I think it's really fun. Like, I'm learning about like the tropes in K-pop. You know what I mean? Like, each thing, like each kind of niche of things has like a trope of the way things are. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of getting into that as we kind of progress into this K-pop journey, and kind of learning like, oh, this is a thing that's common that K-pop people do. And this, like, I'm kind of recognizing like patterns and stuff now, which is a really cool thing. Okay, next question. Felix Fried Chicken 0892. Is this a reference to the fried chicken thing episode in the survival show? Okay, sorry. Felix Fried Chicken 0892 asks, what year were you born and what music do you listen to besides K-pop? I was born in 1996, April 25th, so Anzac Day, 1996. So I'm a year older than Channy. So what music do you listen to besides K-pop? So I basically answered this question, but hip-hop. A lot of hip-hop. But when I say hip-hop, I'm not really into like the kind of melodic like R&B style stuff. It's mainly like just like that hard rap style, which I'm really into, just because like lyrical stuff is really what I'm into, and rap is just pure lyricism, which is why I'm such a big fan of Changbin, because I think he is a beautiful lyricist. Like, Han is talented as shit, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to lyricism, I think Changbin is just a fucking beast. Okay, anyway. As of the moment, okay, next question. Trin Scott asks, as of the moment, do you like Stray Kids or 80s more? Okay, so I don't know if this is going to annoy some people, but it's Stray Kids. I'm sorry. Like, Stray Kids to me are just so much more, I don't know, nicer to listen to. I like 80s stuff as well. Now, this is a hard question to answer because I haven't listened to enough 80s to make this judgment. You know what I mean? Like, I've listened to a lot of Stray Kids at this point. I don't say a lot, but a moderate amount. But at 80s, I've only listened to like 3 or 4, maybe 5 songs. So I can't make that statement just yet. But right now, it's Stray Kids. Just because I'm so blown away by their talent. 3 Racha is just crazy enough on its own. Like, at this point, even if it was just 3 Racha, I would prefer them more over 80s because I haven't seen enough 80s to make that judgment. You know what I mean? Okay. Heavens 4643 asks, are you interested in other K-pop groups? Yes. If yes, I would recommend Dreamcatcher, P1 Harmony, TXT, and more. So yeah, I've answered this question. I am interested to get into more stuff, but I want to kind of digest each group before going on to the next group. You know what I mean? So is there anything, okay, Alyona7063 asks, is there anything in K-pop that really surprised you? So I answered this question. So basically the idea of like it being more than just pop, right? So Wait, so we got some replies to this question. Okay. Wait, so sorry, this is the next question. Oh, sorry. Okay, wait. Oh, this is also from Heavens4643. Okay. He asks, or she, I don't know. For some reason, I want you to react to K-pop group First Traps. Okay, it's not really a question, but I was thinking about that. I feel like they would be funny videos to do with First Traps for these guys, and I'm thinking of doing that in the future. But we'll see what happens. Moon Nanik asks, what other K-pop groups you want to react to next, except for BTS? And are you planning to react to other genres of music? I'm not sure about other genres of music. Maybe in the future, if people really want to see that. And the next group outside of BTS that I'm planning to do is either going to be TXT or... I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Like, there was this group that I was looking at and they seemed interesting. I just forget what they were fucking called. TXT is definitely going to be done soon, though. Like, not soon, but like, you know, once I fully delve into ATs and Stray Kids and stuff. Because the next one I'm doing is BTS. BTS is for sure the next group I'm getting into, though I'm not sure when that's going to happen. But yeah, I'm thinking of actually doing like, when I'm listening to music, I'm thinking of doing them as like streams so I could get a bunch of songs out, you know, and then for videos, I can just do like personality videos. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm planning. BTS is my next group that I'm getting into, but I want to focus more on ATs and Stray Kids currently, especially because I'm going to get into Kingdom soon, and I know Stray Kids and ATs are kind of heavily featured in that. So I think after I do the Kingdom Legendary War Show on Patreon, I'm thinking of getting into BTS after that, most likely. Okay. So this is another question just asking about K-pop groups. I'm not going to get into that. Okay. Bakar4690 asks, if you had to write a book about you, what would be the title? Oh. What would be... That's a hard question. I would say... Ooh. Oh. I don't know. This is hard. You know what I would say? I would say I would call it like the introverted extrovert. That's what I would call the book, I would say. Because that's generally how I think I am. I'm an introvert, right? It takes a lot. Like I lose energy really quickly when I'm with other people and I'm like, I want to go home. But when I'm in those social situations, I'm very extroverted and loud and I'm conversational and social and all that stuff. So that would be the book title. I couldn't really think of anything. That's just the first thing that entered my head. Aaron1349 asks, what's your type? Okay. It depends, right? If it's a female, it's a different type. If it's a guy, it's a different type, right? So I would say for chicks, I'm into more like sporty like, you know, women, like, you know what I mean? Like kind of meat on their bones, a bit muscular, that type of, you know, like that type of chick. For guys, it's probably more feminine guys. Not feminine, but a bit more, I don't know, sharper features, that style, you know. It depends though. Like it changes because like if I get along with a person, I don't really have a type. I do though. Like I think mostly, yeah. Like I don't think I've ever been into, like I don't think I can remember a single time I've been into like those girly girl type girls. You know what I mean? They've always been a bit kind of tomboyish, but then with guys, it's always been like feminine guys. Like, you know, it's like pretty features. So yeah, that's my type, I guess. Last question. I don't know if people are interested in my dating life. Last question on YouTube, by M343. Are you single? Okay, I'm joking. Well, even if you're joking, I answer the question. I am, because I'm a little whore that's afraid of commitment. So yes, I am single. But yeah, let's go on to our Patreon questions. Okay. Question by Red Velvet Nerd on Patreon.
What's your favorite anime and what was your first anime? Okay, so my first anime, I answered this question, was Dragon Ball Z, which I didn't even know what anime was at that point. It was just something that was on TV and I was obsessed with. My favorite anime, on the other hand, is... Ooh, it's hard. My favorite anime, Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho is like a show that came out 80s. I think it's 80s, late 80s, mid 80s, something like that. Very old style of animation, which I really love. I like that old school style of animation. It's just the best show because it has everything that makes Dragon Ball Z cool, like the action and stuff, but then it's got such a good story free from the plot holes of Dragon Ball Z. You know what I mean? I rewatch Yu Yu Hakusho once a year. It's such a good show. It's only got 100 episodes, so it's not like a big show for a shonen. But yeah, if you haven't watched Yu Yu Hakusho, highly recommend that shit. Next question. Lay Moneri, how did you get the idea and the desire to discover the world of K-pop? And do you plan to buy albums to collect the albums? I got I think I talked about it in my first video. I got the idea of like getting into K-pop because I was obsessed with K-dramas at that point. Like I was watching K-dramas every single day and I was like, the music in this is cool. I'm like, I feel like it would be, and I was thinking of like a channel to make because I wanted to do YouTube, right? But and K-pop was the first thing. I was like, I want to start listening to K-pop. So I was like, might as well do a channel on it. And that's kind of what made me want to start. And for my plan to buy albums, yeah, I'm probably going to start collecting them eventually. But yeah, when I have the means to do so, because they're like $40-50 an album or something. I checked because I was going to buy, I was going to order the album for the physical copy for the 5-star album, right? And it was like $40 or $35 or something. I was like, okay, that's a bit steep right now, especially because like inflation in Australia is crazy. Like I went to the shops the other day and a fucking pair of like a thing of strawberries, like 10, maybe 7, 6, 7, 8 strawberries was $7 fucking. Like it's fucking crazy. Inflation's crazy right now. Anyway, next question. Roper Fadzo Shirozvi asks, sorry if I butchered that name. Seems you've watched K-dramas before. What was your first K-drama and what's been your favorite K-drama so far? My first K-drama was I answered this already, but I'll answer it again. My first K-drama was a K-drama called Holy Land. And my favorite K-drama is Vincenzo right now. Stefana Caro asks, what's your motivation to start doing reacts? Again, answered that question already. So let's move on. Eli, would you consider opening a PO box if you have that in Australia so we can send you things? I have a few albums I could send you, even some Mexican or American snacks. Well, yeah, I'd be willing to do that. Probably, I don't know when that would be viable, but yeah, I'll definitely keep that in sights, you know, because I'm not sure how much that costs to get a PO box and stuff like that. I got to look at the kind of mechanics of how that works. But if people really want to see that, yeah, I'd be willing to open one for sure. Okay, next question by Miss C. Selenius. I want to know about all the books and manga you have on your shelf in the background. I recognize some of them, but others I don't. What are your favorites and what would you recommend and why? Oh, okay. So this is going to take a while, but let's do it. So let me look behind me. So over here, we've got Attack on Titan. Not all the volumes, but I think it's like the first 12 volumes of Attack on Titan. These two books here are the first 2 volumes for Full Metal Alchemist. These 2 books are a recent fantasy series I got called the list. Wait, what was it? What's it called? Yeah, the Lysanias trilogy, which I haven't started reading, so I can't really tell you much about it, to be honest. And then we have up here we have the Shadow of Gods and the Hunger of Gods by John Gwynne, which is highly recommended. It's very much like a Norse influenced story. Like it's like, you know, you got the gods and you got like the classic like Norse myths, right? And it's really good. I really highly recommend it. What else do we have? We have a lot of Brandon Sanderson stuff. So we've got Skyward, Starsight, Elantris. So anything Brandon Sanderson, I highly recommend. If you like reading fantasy, Brandon Sanderson is just always good. Doesn't matter. I've read most of his books and they're always just a good time. Then here we've got the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Of course, I talked about how much I love the movies. The books are even better. I've got the Star Wars book called Ronin, which is essentially about this Sith that no, was he a Jedi or a Sith? I can't remember if he was a Sith or a Jedi. I think he was a Sith, and he's like roaming around the world, like basically killing other Siths. Really cool, really cool. He's like kind of a mercenary type guy. Really cool book. And you never kind of get his name in the book, which is interesting. Over here we have the first like 10 volumes of Fairy Tale. We have all the volumes of Zelda, the Twilight Princess manga, which is really good. The art in that is fucking beautiful. Up there, we have the first 2 volumes of Pokemon. And then we have My Hero Academia, the Ultra Analysis book, which is just Deku's notebook, but it's been kind of like printed out for us. I've got all the volumes of the Ruby manga. I've got the Ace's Story One Piece books, which is only like 2 books. It just shows like what happened to Ace prior to us meeting him in One Piece. Got the first 2 volumes of Blue Exorcist, which is a fucking manga I highly recommend. Blue Exorcist is essentially about this dude that's the half-human son of Satan, and it's just kind of dealing with that whole story. We've got some Black Clover books. Black Clover is really good as well. Got the first volume of Kaiju number 8. If you haven't read Kaiju number 8, highly recommend. It's essentially this dude, he's like in his 30s and he wants to be a kaiju hunter, which is like Monster Hunter, but he's like too old and he can't pass the tests. And then he gets the power to turn into a kaiju. And then it's the whole thing of like, it's kind of like the whole vibe of Attack on Titan where Eren's a Titan. You know what I mean? It's like that whole vibe, similar to that. What else do we have? I've got the Dragon Ball volumes of Dragon Ball. I've got a manga called Bakuman, which is about these 2 guys who are trying to become manga artists, and it's kind of their journey. I've got all volumes of that. Let's see, what else do we have? Over here, we've got some more Brandon Sanderson, The Way of Kings. We've got Words of Radiance, Oathbringer, sorry. So anything Brandon Sanderson, highly recommend. Let's see. We got all the volumes for Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. Got the first 13 books for The Wheel of Time, which is by both Robert Jordan, I think, and Brandon Sanderson took over after a certain number of books, I believe. And then we have, what else do we have? We got all the books for The Witcher, so the actual like story for it. This is a really interesting trilogy. It's called the Red Queen's War trilogy. It's essentially about this prince who's like 17th in line to the throne or something, but he's like that Tyrion Lannister-esque character. Like all he likes doing is drinking, sleeping with whores, and you know that type of thing. He's like that type of guy. He's not a hero at all. And it's a really funny read because he teams up with this like Viking dude who's very serious. So I recommend that. What else do we have? So I got all the Game of Thrones books, obviously. I've got the King Killer Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss, which is about this dude who's a really talented musician, and yeah. And what I really like about that series, it's like there's magic, but it's like science. Like the way the magic works is like it's very sciencey. Like there's rules to it. It's really cool. I really like that. I've got, what else do I have? Oh, what else do we have? Okay. I've got Kith and Kin. It's a Vox Machina story. It's about, so if you've watched Critical Role, it's about what's their names? It's about the twins. I'm blanking on their names. I haven't watched it in so long. Vax and Vex, right? It's about their story prior to teaming up with the rest of Vox Machina. But yeah, if you haven't watched Critical Role, you probably won't like be into it. But that's a good book. What else do we have? Some of the Percy Jackson books, not all of them, because I was a big fan. That was probably one of the first book series I read. We got some games here, PS4 games, Nintendo games. So I guess we'll go through the games as well. We got Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, Breath of the Wild, Fire Emblem Warriors. Pokemon, Final Fantasy 10, Super Mario, Super Smash Brothers, Mario Maker 2, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, like that's the type of games I play. And then what else do we have? I've got all the Overwatch comics. The what's it called? It's like a book, and it has every Overwatch comic officially released by Blizzard in that. And then I've got Narnia as well, all the books for Narnia. And I have, what else? Oh, I got all the Harry Potter books as well. All the Harry Potter books. I got the 101 Tales of Grimm, which is essentially the fairy tales by the Grimm brothers. We got some more Brandon Sanderson. We got Steelheart, Firefight, Calamity. Yeah, we've got a bunch of other books, I'm sure, that I'm missing right now. But yeah, that's what it is. So that was a bit longer than it needed to be, but it is what it is. Let's go on to the last question of the day by Rimshav Javid. Will you be reacting to Wanta Tees or other 80s non-music related content as well? Yeah, I'll be getting to that eventually, so don't worry about that. That's going to be happening. There's just so much content to react to, so I'm trying to kind of, do it, but it's hard. Anyway, that's the video. So that was fun to do. I like that. It kind of getting more into my backstory a bit, which was fun to do. I like that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.